Hey everybody! A really long time ago I bought Gaball Screen, a game about a flying shoe, and that's all that was needed to sacrifice my money to the gods of eBay. So what is Gaball Screen, and what lays beyond its weird premise? Well, that something is a someone, and his name is Tetsuya Komuro, Japan's most successful music producer ever. He's largely credited for introducing dance music to Japan. He started off as a keyboardist for the band Speedway, before breaking off and forming his own band, TM Network. Despite having the camaraderie of his newfound band members, he went on to do solo work as both a singer and composer. His work in this era spanned from anime to the most influential of 90s era pop. However, his true talents lay in producing. Once TM Network disbanded, he began writing and producing for TRF, otherwise known as Tetsuya Komuro Rave Factory. According to Billboard.com, TRF's first two singles became million sellers, and they shifted a total of 20 million units over the next 6 years. So Tetsuya's riding the high life. And one day he decides, I'm going to make a game about a shoe. Gaball Screen. The game was meant to feature old and new talent. Fledgling actresses were chosen to be lead vocals, with Tetsuya producing not only the game, but the music as well. However, many of the bands featured would fade away in the early 2000s. It's unknown whether Gaball Screen sold well. It was never released outside of Japan, and while it's not rare, it is most certainly obscure. There's no bibliography or discograph that even links Tetsuya to Gaball Screen. In fact, the only proof that the game exists is the game itself. Just gotta put in this Japanese PlayStation game into my Mac. And we're treated with Tetsuya Komuro himself, nodding to some sick beats. He opens a box circle of shoes before having to immediately abandon us. In his absence, one of the shoes springs to life, leaving the other cold, lifeless, and dead, like my soul. But oh no, the shoe decides to fuck around, causing CDs to fly all over the place. The only way to get them all back is to become one with the synthesizer. You must journey through the worlds of each song to uncover 5 CDs per track. There are 7 tracks total, and you're free to begin on any track of your choice. But for the purpose of this review, I'm going to start off on the first track and keep things simple. Whew, those early PS1 graphics, am I right? The sharp contrast from pre-render to this is like sharp glass being gently inserted into my eyes. The pain, it hurts. The game is letting us know how many CDs are hidden throughout this level. One CD is blinking, so that means there's one CD hidden. The game doesn't give you any indicators letting you know where it's hidden. You just have to click on random things until you find it. Uh-huh. Okay. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Where are we? France? So according to this trusty dusty manual right here, we're not in Paris. We are in wait for it. Oh yeah, right here. Paper Square. Oh. We're onto something. Alright, I wasn't expecting a tuba, but I accept it. Let's bail. Alright, so we gotta address the elephant in the room, which are her boobies. You could put little chunks on them and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It's beautiful. I'm an artiste. Alright, what's gonna happen? Just hit me with it. Moving on. Aww, that's adorable. I like this guy. He knows what's up. Of course. What is it with this game and abandoning people?
We're not alone in the universe. End of story.
Alright, so I got 2 CDs. On to the next world. Oh my god! Is that Gamelan? Gamelan is an ensemble of percussive instruments. But sometimes people like to get spicy and add a singer or two. Gamelan has an important place in Indonesian culture, primarily in Bali and Java. It accompanies a variety of social functions, from puppet theaters to cremation ceremonies. It's an enchanting sound whose origins lay in the myth of Sang Hang Guru, a god who ruled over all of Java. He needed a signal to summon the gods, and thus invented the gong. For more complex messages, he invented 2 other gongs, thus forming the original gamelan set. This world, Ceremony Circle, seems to be devoted to that myth, as the frogs, who are playing gamelan, summon a god from a pie. So after we get the last CD, a new option appears. Whatever could it mean? Certainly not a clip. Wait a second. Hold the fucking phone. This isn't a game at all. It's just a clever disguise for a record album.
How many Mario games do you see Shigeru Miyamoto strutting on the catwalk in a nice silk suit? You don't, because the focus of the game is Mario. But in Gaball Screen, it's a shoot.
Woo! Let's talk about smart things. Are you ready to talk about smart things? I'm not. Let's do it. There are some games out there that get flack for being walking simulators. The Stanley Parable, Firewatch, and Gone Home are all examples of the genre. Usually, there's no skill set to be learned, and your interactions have a minimal effect on the world. In order to counterbalance this, these games play on their strengths to remain entertaining. Whether it's a suspenseful build-up to a big revelation, or a witty sense of humor.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
The game needs to make sure its limited elements do more than one thing, and this is where the boundary is drawn between walking simulators and great experiences. However, even when those elements are utilized, the boundary between the two is blurred by subjectivity, what your expectations of the game are, and what you hope to gain from the experience. A game can utilize all of its elements, but still be boiled down to a therapy game. What makes a great experience is subjective to the person playing it. Remember, the worst thing any form of media can be is boring, and Gaball Screen is far from boring. So I'm going to attempt to describe why this game is fun to me, and where its strengths lie and where its weaknesses hinder it. But first, we have to understand the decisions behind the game, and why they were made. In an interview Tetsuya had with Billboard magazine in 1995, Tetsuya said, "With karaoke, you only sing, and at a disco, you only dance." I thought, Wouldn't it be fun if the two biggest forms of entertainment for kids could be mixed? I think this says a lot about the creator of this game. He's not trying to invent anything new or make a statement, he's just trying to see what's fun, and if it works, it works. He's the same guy that had people dress up with animal heads and run around in a music video. And this zany humor definitely makes an appearance in Gaball Screen. I mean, you're playing as a shoe. Now, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Why do you play as a shoe? I don't know. I've read this whole manual. I still don't know. But do you know what I do know? I know why the shoe flies. The shoes are being powered by the hearts of Tetsuya's fans. Whoever wrote the manual describes Gaball Screen as a treasure hunt for music. The game was meant to simulate track down. I think this is referring to a common task in production. Often when behind an audio board, the producer will say, "Track your music," which means raising the music's volume. However, Tetsuya is most likely referring to parts of a song being cued in different tracks. So finding one CD is equivalent to raising the volume on one track, until you found all of them and create the song. When playing the game, I felt I could almost get an inkling of what it's like to compose, without actually composing anything. You see, there's games like Mario Paint that actually let you compose a song. And then there's games like Electroplankton, with music presets that you can tweak. And then on the far, far end of the music interactivity spectrum are rhythm games like Rock Band, where you're following a very rudimentary path with no ability for improvisation. Yet you still have inputs, so it still feels like you're playing music. And then Gaball Screen is somehow a step above that. There are no precise inputs for the different beats, instead you unlock different chunks of them. In the menu, you can even click on the CDs and isolate the tracks to see how the song would sound if different beats were muted. This feeling of creating a song, and the surprise at how a beat can completely throw off the genre you were expecting, is what keeps Gaball Screen entertaining. Remember how I was saying walking sim type games need to utilize their minimal elements? Well, Gaball Screen uses its music not only as a reward for the player, but also as a way to bridge the clashing themes. Once the beat gets started in M1, it doesn't stop. The additions to the song carry over to the next world and set the mood. If you were to play this beach level with absolutely no sound, what would you expect? Something poppy? A guitar riff? What about these animations? They're so jarring. What's going on? Add in the music. And suddenly, everything makes sense. It just feels so sad. I don't even know what's happening here, but it's beautiful. In the first world, only 3D models can be interacted with, and the 2D cutouts are established as background decoration that you can glide through, while 3D objects bring you to a halt and produce an animation. Sometimes after the animation plays, a 3D object can be phased through, or remains solid but produces no animation. However, sometimes the coding isn't that clean. There are multiple times I passed through both 2D and 3D objects, and an animation played for a second, only for the game to realize, wait, no, that's not right, and the animation cuts out. Also, I know this is supposed to be a treasure hunt, but the downside to treasure hunts are that they can get boring. There's always that one parent during Easter that hides an egg in the car engine, And when you painstakingly gather all of the eggs, they go, tee, you're missing one. So you tear up the house looking for it, but then your will to care weakens. You give up and gorge yourself on ice cream. Sometimes there's indicators, like this thing is moving, go here. Or, hey, there's a 3D object on a 2D object. If this stands out, maybe you should click on it. But then you get to here. Now I ask you, what here can be interacted with? What is it? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want? This? Yes. But it won't give you the CD to complete the level. Oh no. For that, you need to click right here. You know, the thing your brain hasn't been primed to expect. I was stuck on this level for an hour. A whole hour that I will never get back. Usually when you get lost in a game, there's fun things in the background to at least keep you immersed. Long enough to figure out what you're doing. But the worlds in Gaball Screen are more like barren wastelands. Meant to highlight sideshow attractions. The attractions are interesting, but after an hour or two, you become desensitized to the weirdness. When you rely solely on music to set the atmosphere, you only receive a part of what the world could be. I'm going to shift gears here and talk about the plans Tetsuya had for this game. From what I could gather from the manual, Tetsuya wanted to form a band that was solely virtual. They would not perform in concerts or even on TV. TM Network aimed at a new existence in which music and video would be united. Gaball Screen was the first experiment to test this idea. While it may not have worked in Tetsuya's favor, it's definitely an idea people thought would be profitable. Later in the early 2000s, Vocaloids would become the hip new thing. And I believe they would encapsulate Tetsuya's idea. But they're not the only ones. There's Hologram Tupac, the Gorillaz, Love Live. That's it! The review is over! It's done! It's never happening again! 6 months I spent on this review. I've graduated. I've moved from one apartment. I've moved from a second apartment. I have a job. I am an adult now. This review is like that one movie with the kid who, it took 10 years. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's over.